Alright, now next one is a vegan poem, and it's the first one I ever performed. The politics are a bit outdated. It says nasty things about George Bush, but that's always worth doing, you know. So. And it's called. Hang on, just quick drink. You understand when you hear the title, you understand why I need the drink. This is called Animal Abuse-Based Traditional Proverbs and Sayings, de-animalised and made veganically correct, with apologies for the fact that I'm no good at snapping titles. We can kill 2 words with 1 tone. There isn't enough room in here to swing a cot. Do I look okay, or do I look like Marmite dressed as jam? A turd in the hand is worth President Bush. See, that's one of those. To make a blanket, you have to break some threads. There's more than one way to skin a kumquat. Give a man a quiche and you feed him for a day. Invite him over for dinner and you might get to feel him for a night. Don't put all your ego in one bastard. The curly nerd gets the perm. And don't put a fish course in the mouth. And finally, you can't make a slick verse from a lousy idea. Oh, you. Right, my penultimate poem is long, and it's about my upbringing as a vile middle-class southerner. Now, you may get the urge to strangle me halfway through this. If I could just ask you to wait till the end. I don't mind if you could just wait till the end. And it's called In a Class of My Own. One of the most dreadful of my disabilities was to be raised middle class. That's class to rhyme with arse, not class to rhyme with lass. In our detached, very detached house, the Guardian every day and 2 French cars, willow trees in the garden, aspirations in the stars. Not that the working classes, or lower classes, weren't marvellous. Some are even bright enough for further education, not higher. When you meet them, don't treat them any differently. Their ignorance isn't their fault. Pronounced fault, not fault. Some of my best friends were working class. Then we came north. Then we came north to a poor village, north of Manchester, we were told. Scotland? We asked. No, there's some England, north of Manchester, but not quite Scotland. That far north? Good Lord, exclaimed Mother. That's Mother, never Mum. It'll be all flat caps, me by gum. So we moved, and I was very scared of the savages we'd find, for whom I felt completely unprepared. And we came north, and I fell in love. I fell in love with people who didn't gush, who were okay with flaws, who said good stuff was lush, and who'd fight for a cause. At home I was told off for saying school instead of school, swimming pool instead of pool. Decades later, in a Parisian queue to see Matisse at the Pompidou, I was accosted by fellow Brits. They were very southern and quite clearly all true blue. As we spoke, they observed sadly, "Your vowels do have a northern taint." In their ghastly cut-glass accents, oh how quaint, how quaint, how quaint. I'd never felt so proud as my smile became cold. To be a taint of northernness is joy, is truth, is gold. I tried not to think of them as posh southern gits, those snobbish Brits, as a wave of homesickness hit me for my best mate calling me a daft ape, for proper chips and polemic, and cheerful faux gen glitz. Flowers in Fletcher Moss, a place I love and where I fit. And back here, home in my beloved Manchester, I laughed hollowly at my prejudices, old and new. Remembering, as we used to patronise the workers, the lowers, how we sneered too at the uppers, those public school aristocrats who with better titles than ours, who, unlike us, don't you know, had such a false and twisted sense of social perspective. Thank you. My final poem I wrote especially for tonight, and I brought the wrong draft with me. So it's an early draft, and it's very rough around the edges. I'd like you to look at it. It's a fascinating opportunity to see a work in progress rather than a bit of object. So I wrote it tonight because it's such a fantastic project, this, it really is. And this poem is called Many Hands. The hands that make the news are few, and when they do, they're usually tragic. Held a knife to his neck, wrote the prescription that killed her, voted for racists, signed fraudulent cheques, punched her black and blue. It can be easy to forget the many hands, the magic, the hands in hospitals that smooth pillows and hoover wards, that read braille, that give applause. The endless caring, the stroking, cleaning and cooking, mostly very wearing and done when no one's looking. Many hands needing no praise nor riches, kneading dough only to bake it, seeding love, touching to make it. Many hands holding placards saying this is wrong, tilling the land, hands hard, calloused, strong. Taking photos of loved ones, raising a tissue to a tear, caressing a cheek to make a smile, pointing out the rainbows in the rain, easing a baby into the world, painting, sculpting, writing, universes unfurled. A hand that squeezed mine for the last time when all the words had gone. Care, comfort, creativity, many hands work to make lives a silent brightness. Many hands make light.